$9.5 million under the cap because Nikita Kucherov didn't play a single game in the regular season because of his surgery. They saved another $1.7 million when Stamkos sat out a month. I know Hamilton says he wasn't taking shots at the Lightning, but Mike, there is a cap loophole here that's making for an uneven playing field, is there not?
Well, there is if you happen to stumble into injuries. And I think it's a really fascinating conversation. You're right. Dougie Hamilton wasn't blaming the Lightning. He's just pointing out the obvious. They had a ton of extra money. And I think there's a conversation to be had there. If you have to put an $82 million roster on the ice in the regular season, perhaps you might need to put an $82 million roster on the ice in the playoffs. And if that means that you add some players to replace the guy who's hurt, well, then you have to subtract some players when that guy comes back. I think there is a conversation to be had there. Now, I don't know if the appetite's there for the players, for the owners, for anyone to do it, but there does seem an inherent inequality of the cap situation. If you happen to get a long-term injury, you can just exceed the cap by up to $10, $12 million like Tampa was able to do this year.
The thing that stands out for me, two things, is Tampa Bay wasn't the only team that was over the cap heading into the playoffs. There's several teams that did that. And I didn't hear, now if Carolina goes on, do you think Dougie Hamilton would go, you know what, like we beat a team that was $18 million over the cap? Like, I always have this saying, and I say it with respect, excuses are for losers. And you know what? There is no guarantee that Kucherov, who missed the whole season, maybe he doesn't hit the ground running. Maybe he has rust on his game. He's a special player, and I get that, but ultimately, Tampa's not the only team that was over the cap here. And Carolina's got an unbelievable team. And I think they're going to retool, and they'll be right back at there next season. But I just, that's not the reason why Tampa was able to beat Carolina. They did it last year. They won a cup without Steve Stamkos. He played 2 minutes. He's an unbelievable player. So they're just too deep. And I thought Tampa was the better team than Carolina.
For the record, the Canes were about $2 million under the cap. Now, loophole or not, Kucherov has picked up exactly where he left off in last year's playoffs, that despite missing the entire regular season. He led last year's postseason with 34 points in 25 games en route to the Stanley Cup, and through 2 rounds this spring, Kucherov's got 18 points in 11 games to lead the field yet again.